Well, it's time for Saturday morning cartoons, and uh, and welcome. Constance is out on her bicycle this morning. She likes to take a little ride around, especially when the weather's nice like this. And so she's uh, left me left me here so I can throw my clothes around and quickly clean them up before she gets back. Anyway, uh, this morning we watched a very very interesting and I would say enlightening little video on uh, what life is like when you don't identify yourself as a consumer, I guess is the thing. Now I put uh, the the link up to the thing on my Facebook page this morning, and if you've got, I think it's only like 15 minutes long, um, but it's an awesome little thing, and I encourage you to click on the link and watch that if you got 15 minutes. Anyway, I've been looking at that show sort of got me thinking about an examined life and the magic of an examined life and how a magician uh, examines uh, life uh, where others go through their day without examining their life. I'll talk about that in a second. But anyway, I've got something else I want to talk about. This is the latest little slim edition of agape or agape, uh, which is the official organ of the U.S. Grand Lodge of OTO. And it's a nice thing that members get, and I was looking it over. But what I used it for today is I've got an address, a link, if you will, because coming up in July is the NOTOCON, the National OTO Convention, and it's the 15th one. It's held every 2 years, so it's been going on for 30 years. But if you want to register, you need to register now. If this is for OTO people watching this, and here is the address. Don't wait to register. It is coming right up on kind of a, I don't want to call it a deadline, but it's if you haven't registered yet, you intend to go to it. It's in Portland. It'll be beautiful. It's one of the best parts of being in the OTO is to meet with and uh, attend all the incredibly good lectures and workshops and feasts, and it's just absolutely wonderful. So and I'll be there. I'm going to do a little presentation. I may even bring my guitar. We'll see. Uh, but if you haven't registered, I'm holding this up long enough for you to see it. Just go to the OTO USA.org and it'll take you to registration. Anyway, so there's that. Okay, you know, quantum physicists, or most everybody now, it's such a common knowledge, but they tell us that the conditions of an experiment are changed by the simple act of whether it is being observed or not. It's the Schrodinger's cat thing, you know. The the a policeman pulls over Schrodinger and opens up his trunk and says, "You know, you got a dead cat in there?" And he says, "Well, I do now." If that is on a quantum level, that if that is such an important factor uh, in an equation, and the biggest equation to observe is one's own life. If that is so important, one would think that examining one's own life uh, pulls it into another dimension than not observing one's life. And you might say, well, of course I observe my life, you know. Um, do you? Or do you, most of us, me included, most of us go through the day uh, not so much examining my life, but just getting through it, experiencing it. But when you stop to examine it, something magical happens. It becomes magical in a way. A great eye has turned on it and is observing it. Now, when I was a kid, okay, um, I walked to school uh, a lot. Okay, oh, I walked in the snow and well, I did. Uh, but I I was so bored in Nebraska. Okay, maybe that's why. It was just so dull. I had to make it exciting. And so I started an inner narration. Okay. Uh, Starting about 1957, 58, 59. Uh, I got to stay up late, or I stayed up late and watched Darren McGavin in Mickey Spillane's Mike Hammer. Okay. And I read the books. Okay. They're like, because they're racy, they're kind of sexy and very, very violent. Okay. Just the kind of stuff 10, 11-year-old boys just love, you know. And uh, he has Mickey Spillane has an inner dialogue, an inner narration that Mike Hammer is always doing, and it draws. It's a wonderful dramatic device, and it draws you in. You know, uh, I I was coming off a 2-week case in Chinatown when I was going home to shovel in some bacon and eggs before crashing it. You know, and he narrates it as he's observing his own life and telling the cosmos about it. Yeah, and there she was. Okay, she was 5'8" and stacked like a, you know, and I could tell that she was deadly, and it was just uh, and so I would do that on the way to school. I would observe what I was doing, and the icicles off of the old carriage house in the alley dripped down on the like like the fangs of a bleeding dragon, and I would make my life interesting to myself and narrate it. That's an observed life. And then when I got into music, it had a soundtrack to it. Okay, because I was playing songs in my mind that I was memorizing and getting ready to perform and stuff. And so I had a soundtrack to my like Mickey Spillane had crazy jazz playing in the background. So it is important, and it's one of the first simple things that a magician does when they become a magician is to make a diary. Force yourself into doing what little Lonnie did on the walking to school. Make your life an adventure. Make your life interesting, a magical quest, an odyssey, because it is. I was, this is 1990, and I called this one the Little Red Book of Chairman Lon. Yeah, December 89 through I don't know when, 93. And this is the fifth one I had, and it goes to 78 to 80. And Phyllis was still writing notes in it. I wrote on the right side of the page, and then Phyllis would submit the diary, and she would make her comments. And it's really funky because I'm the laziest guy in the world, okay? And there's memory exercises, and I was going through this recently because this is where I was working on. I had just recently received the never mind. I was experimenting and working out and perfecting certain magical rituals and things like that, magical techniques. Anyway, here's one. It's a beautiful book. The book itself is well, it's got like that. Somebody gave it to me, so. But anyway, I call this one my favorite year, 2003. Personal Magical Diary, Lon Milo DuQuette. And here's a quote from Shakespeare, from The Tempest, I think. Now does my project gather to a head. My charms crack not, my spirits obey, and time goes upright with his carriage. How's the day? Okay, and there's 2003, my favorite year. Okay. I'm going to read just a little bit from it, if you don't mind. November 11th, which is my father's birthday, November 11th, 2002. Okay, so this is like 50 days before my favorite year starts, okay. 12:58 p.m., Anaheim, California. I'm writing this from work. Yeah. Today, my father would have been 91 years old. He was born in 1911. I'm not sure what it is that has possessed me at this particular time to resume a personal and magical diary. So I'd given it a rest for a year or so. Maybe it's because I reached the age when I spend a lot of time thinking about yesterday and assessing my many and varied performances as an actor on the stage of life. Looking back too much is not healthy. If I'm not careful, I could forget how to look at today. Or worse, I might forget how to dream about tomorrow. Maybe it's because that horse's ass, George W. Bush, is about to start a war that America can only win by turning herself into a country more terrible than our alleged enemies. George W. Bush. Boy, those were the days. Maybe it's because the Anaheim Angels have just won the World Series, signaling the freezing over of hell and the complete redemption of the universe. Maybe it's because, all things considered, I'm actually a pretty happy fellow. I really appreciate every second of this happiness, and I'm constantly aware that at any moment, I or circumstances could screw it all up. And so I feel the need to capture this golden moment of relative contentment. When the past is behind me, the present is satisfying, and the future holds promise. I'm calling this journal my favorite year, 2003. Of course, I have no idea whether 2003 will really be my favorite year or not. But why not be optimistic? In any case, it certainly is shaping up to be a very interesting year. Here's where I am, 50 days before the beginning of my favorite year, 2003. I'm 54 years old, 305 pounds, but otherwise in pretty good health. I've got a good head of silver hair and a beard to match. Last Saturday, my wife Constance and I celebrated our 35th wedding anniversary. She gave me a Roy Rogers and Dale Evans greeting card and a bar of good chocolate. I cleaned up my office for her and let her sleep in. We live, as we have for most of our 35 years, in Costa Mesa, California. Oh, God, those. But for the last 4 years, we've lived in a very cute duplex right across the street from where our son Jean-Paul attended elementary school. We still live the sort of life we lived as a young hippie couple, except now we both have jobs. She is a library page at the City of Newport Beach's Mariners Library. Me, for the last 8 years, at the accounting department of C.B. Richard Ellis, of the world's largest commercial real estate firms, or one of the world's largest commercial real estate firms. I like the job, even though it means commuting an hour a day. Every day since I started, I expect to get fired. I'm not a very good worker, and I've written most of my last 6 books while on the job. The company is so big, I'm not sure anyone knows what exactly I do here. Even though I'm fat and clumsy, we still sleep on a mattress on the floor and eat pretty much a vegetarian diet. I'm not so fussy. Maybe that's why I'm so fat. Constance decorates our little house and gardens like a cross between Beatrix Potter and Edgar Allan Poe. I drive a 1977 Volkswagen van. Well, it's now a 1984 one. Okay. Our son Jean-Paul turned 30 in February. After getting his BA from the University of California, Irvine, he moved to Japan to teach English. He loves all things Japanese, including the women. He married a beautiful woman named Miwa Oda on Christmas Day 2001 in Tokyo. This past month, October 26th, they held a ceremony for the benefit of the families in Hawaii. Constance and I took our first trip to Hawaii. The wedding was beautiful. I officiated it. Okay. All of JP's boyhood chums were there, and it was very nice. Everyone, uh, they even let me officiate. My brother Mark, now deceased, lives in Laguna Beach. He's married for the third time. His wife's a very interesting psychic named Kathleen. Oh, we love Kathleen. She's still with us in contact. It's great having a psychic sister-in-law. She always knows what I want for my birthday. My mother is still alive. Oh boy. And is in the process of driving another husband named Bud, my father's name was Bud, to his grave. She'll be 89 years old this month. Last year she fell and broke her hip, and to the surprise of everyone, she's recovered pretty well. She's in no shape, however, to go to JP's wedding in Hawaii. Our OTO lodge, Haru Raha Lodge, is more or less dormant after 25 years. I still give Monday night magic class for 23 years plus, and we initiate now and then at a beautiful temple that two wealthy members have built for us in Lake Elsinore. Constance and I also traveled around the country giving our mass seminars. I'm the U.S. Deputy Grand Master General and EGC Archbishop. For the last few years, I've been active in the American Tarot Association, International Tarot Society. I try to attend all the conventions and the various other gatherings in an attempt to shamelessly promote my books and cards. Yeah, that hasn't changed. A few years ago, when I turned 50, I joined my dad's old Masonic lodge in Long Beach and have served alternately as chaplain and junior deacon. I'll be chaplain again during my favorite year, 2003. Writing career-wise, here's where they stand. I just finished my sixth book in 10 years for Wiser. It's an extended commentary on the Book of Thoth and the Thoth Tarot. It's called Understanding Aleister Crowley's Thoth Tarot. I sent in the manuscript last Wednesday, and in those days I was still sending the manuscript. Okay, big thick envelopes, with a ream of paper. Okay. It's scheduled for release in September of my favorite year, 2003. Also scheduled for September 2003 is the re-release of my first Wiser book, The Magick of Thelema, or The Magick of Aleister Crowley. I'm in the process of enlarging it, etc., etc. Let's see. Wiser also asked me if I would write a funny book on oracles, and that would be the Book of Ordinary Oracles. I wanted to call it Funny You Should Ask. Also in the works, now get this, okay, get this, because it's still in the works, and there's a possibility this still may turn into something. Also in the works is a screenplay I'm working on with my friend Jim. Jim is paying me, okay, it's X dollars, for helping him with the script, and 50-50 split with him of the writer's goodies if it ever gets made into a film. See what I mean about 2003 shaping up to be a very interesting year? Okay. 5:15 p.m. Home from work. Magic class tonight. Quick dinner, worked on screenplay until class arrives at 8. Starting tomorrow, I will start with my daily journal format. And here's Tuesday, November 12th, 2002. Beautiful Sunday morning, cold. Turned out to be such a routine morning. I think I will chronicle the events, things that generally happen every workday, so I won't have to repeat myself every day. 6:45, I'm up and out the door and warming up the VW. As I depart for work, I chant the sacred name of Ganesha 108 times to the tune of Pop Goes the Weasel. I never omit this odd ritual when driving to work. I wouldn't think of beginning my day, or a lecture, or a book signing, or a kind of trip without honoring the Lord of Beginnings. I am, however, too lazy to memorize all 108 of his descriptive appellations, so I just chant his name as the only word of 4.5 rounds of Pop Goes the Weasel. Ganesh, 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 Ganesha, Ganesh, 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 Ganesha. That's 12. Ganesh, 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 Ganesha, Ganesh, 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 Ganesha. So that's 24. Okay, do 4.5 rounds. You got it. Okay. Nothing too excited to report at work today. I did get back from somebody else about the screenplay. I hope he can be helpful in presenting the script to Alan Rickman. As a matter of fact, he did, and Alan Rickman did sign a letter of intent to play Crowley in the. Of course, it never worked out. Anyway, Constance called around 3:15 to tell me that there was a $364 check from my old publisher, New Falcon. Okay, now if you think you make a lot of money writing occult books, think again. Okay. It's better than a poke in the eye. I won't get another royalty check for 6 months from them. Okay, that's about, and I got other things, and it continues on. It's a pretty good diary. I had long since stopped sending my diary to Phyllis. But that's another story. My point is, examine your life. Pretend you're starting your own television series and narrate it. It instantly changes the circumstances of your existence. Till tomorrow, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. We'll see you tomorrow for Sunday school. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law. Love under will.